I see the sun. I hear the rolling thunder. Thou throughout the universe display. This is my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. This is my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. We're going to be preaching a series of lessons from this passage. So it will do you some good to receive it as homework by way of preparation for probably the next 2 months or so. Amen. Right? We're staying right there. All right? The accent or the emphasis today is on verse 15, which I repeat just for emphasis' sake. Until the Lord has given your brethren rest, as he gave you, and they also have taken possession of the land which the Lord your God is giving them, then you shall return to the land of your possession and enjoy it, which Moses the Lord's servant gave you on this side of Jordan towards the sunrise. This is who we are, and this is what we do.
Right. Amen.
This is who we are, and this is what we do. The story of Joshua chapter 1, verses 10 through 18 has a message.
All right.
And that message is, if you are going to get the rest that God has provided for you, subsequently us, sometimes you're going to need the cooperation of other people.
Yes.
Y'all with me? If you're going to claim your God-given inheritance, sometimes you're going to need the cooperation, the help from other people. The language of the text uses ideas like army. And the folk in the army of God in the text, who have their rest, must help the rest to get their rest. What? How should you and I feel about a campaign of death ordered by God and led by Joshua? How you feel about that? God commanding the people of God to go into Canaan, destroy them, because the land thereon, God chose that land for your inheritance.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
For starters, Israel had to be settled on this particular piece of land. because God chose it.
Amen.
Amen. God said, this is the place that I will use for you to launch your death campaign.
Amen.
The whole idea was God's idea.
Yes.
G, come on to Deuteronomy 7, please, with me, and begin reading at chapter 1. You're going to read some today. Praise Jesus. Start at verse 1 in Deuteronomy chapter 7.
When the Lord your God
When the Lord your God
brings you into the land which you
brings,
possess,
read.
and has cast out many nations before you,
Uh-huh,
the Hittites,
uh-huh,
and the Girgashites,
Uh-huh.
and the Amorites,
Uh-huh.
and the Canaanites,
yeah,
the Perizzites,
Uh-huh.
the Hivites,
Uh-huh.
the Jebusites,
yeah.
7 nations greater than,
7 nations that are greater.
and
You see
mightier
what?
than you. Yes.
See when? Oh my goodness. Okay, read.
7 nations greater and mightier than you.
Read.
And when the Lord your God delivers them over to you,
Uh-huh.
you shall come to them and utterly destroy them.
See, it makes no difference when God launches a campaign or when he acts redemptively how the size of the enemy.
All right?
When God says succor, they go down.
Well,
The whole supposition, the undercurrent supposition of the text is we are not wilderness warriors. Who are we? We are Canaan conquerors. What do? We help
yes, sir.
others
All right.
get the rest we got.
Amen. Come on, preacher. All right.
Read.
You shall make no covenant
Uh-huh.
with them,
Read.
nor show mercy to them.
Woo.
No covenant.
No mercy.
Amen.
No covenant. No mercy. Read.
Nor shall you make marriages with them.
And don't go hook.
Come on, preacher. You sit it out there. No.
No. Don't go marrying.
You shall not give your daughters to their son,
Right.
nor take their daughter for your son.
Right.
For they will turn your sons away from following me.
They will turn your sons away from God is read.
To serve other
To
gods.
serve other gods.
So the anger of the Lord will be aroused against you and destroy you suddenly.
That ticked God off.
Yes.
When God speaks into your life and mine, pay attention.
Amen.
Pay attention. Read.
But thus you shall deal with them.
Uh-huh.
You shall destroy their altars.
Destroy their altars.
Break down
Their sacred pillars. Cut down their wooden images. Burn the cup. Okay, jump down to verse 16. And also, verse 16. Say it. Also,
you shall destroy all the people.
destroy how many of the people?
All the people
Uh-huh.
whom the Lord your God delivers over to you.
The reason why we're able to destroy them is because God put their heads on the platter and served them. Praise God. The fight is fixed.
Jesus.
Read.
Your eyes shall have no pity on them.
No pity.
Nor shall you serve their gods. For that will be a snare to you. Yes.
So God said, listen, the reason Joshua, Jalen, what's your name? Yeah, that was that. Don't let them survive. Because if you let them survive, they will lead you astray. Y'all with me? That's why you can't hang out with everybody.
Come on, preacher.
Some of your hangouters will lead you away from God.
Come on, preacher.
God did not have one standard for one people and another standard for another. Go to Deuteronomy 9 and verse 4 and 5. Yes. Do not think
in your heart. After the Lord your God has cast them out before you.
Saying what?
Because of my righteousness.
Because of my righteousness.
The Lord has brought me in to possess this land.
See, God is laying it down. Yeah. When you get in there, you might think because you fighting that you're the one that's
Right. Come on, preacher.
Don't get it twisted and think that it's because you're so righteous that God delivered them. You know how we get?
Yes.
But some of us read.
But it is because of the wickedness.
It's because of the wickedness of those nations
that the Lord is
driving them out before you. Verse 5. It is not because he had to say it again.
Well, not because of your righteousness. Or the uprightness of your
You are not all of that.
That you go in to possess their land.
Read.
But because of the wickedness
of these nations, that the Lord your God drives them out before you, and that he may fulfill the word which the Lord swore to your daddies.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yes.
The same reason, the wickedness of the nations, for the flood in Noah's day is the same reason for the blood in Joshua's day. He used nature in the flood, but he's using a nation now in the day of Joshua. So we can conclude that whenever God acts redemptively, there's going to be a fight. Because the evil, the wickedness, they're not just going to sit out and get run out of town. Y'all follow what I'm saying? There's got to be a fight when God redeems his people. It's called the scheme of redemption. So what God, this signals to us what God is doing now and what he will ultimately do when he judges the land. Israel had found, we rather, have found our rest in Christ. Say amen for that. Amen. So what do we do now? Our text suggests we must help the rest get their rest. Amen. I hope that's all right. So they camped by the side of the Jordan River, and Joshua anticipates a problem. Listen up. The greatest threat to Israel's victory would have been Israel's disunity. You see what's going on in the text? They want to stay on the other side and let the people of God go in without them to take the land. You know how many people comprise half a tribe of Manasseh and Gad and Reuben? We talk about 40,000+ soldiers. If they go in without this group of people, without these tribes, it makes it more difficult for them to inherit the land. Is everybody all right? Now, let's look at another piece of the story in Numbers chapter 32. Numbers chapter 32, begin at verse 16. See, Joshua is just reminding them in the book of Joshua of what Moses told them in the book of... All right. You there yet? 32.
Then they came near to him.
Then they came near to him.
And said
what?
We will build sheepfolds for our livestock.
Read.
And cities for our little ones.
Read.
But we ourselves will be armed, ready to go before the children of Israel until we have brought them to their place.
Read.
Then our little ones will dwell in the fortified cities
because
of the inhabitants of the land.
Read.
We will not return to our homes until every one of the children of Israel has received.
We ain't going back. Everybody. This is what they told Moses. Read.
For we will not inherit with them on the other side of the Jordan and beyond. Because our inheritance has fallen to us
on the east side of the Jordan. Read.
Then Moses said to them.
If you do this,
if you
arm yourselves before the Lord for the war,
and all your
armed men cross over Jordan
before the Lord until he has driven out his enemies from before him.
Read.
And the land is subdued before the Lord.
Then afterward
you may return and be blameless before the Lord
and before Israel. And this land shall
be your possession.
Read.
Before the Lord.
Read. But if you don't do it,
then take note.
Take note.
You have sinned against the Lord.
You've sinned against God.
And be sure
God
find you out.
God will recompense that.
Yes.
Read.
Build
cities for your little ones and folds for your sheep, and do what you say.
And the children of Gad.
That's enough. Do what you say.
Amen.
Right? That bothers me a little bit because a lot of times folk won't say nothing because they don't intend to do nothing. Well, I don't want to say nothing because when I say what I said, I'll be committed to do what I said. And so let's just not. Can we talk later?
Amen. Come on, preacher. Well,
the challenge is not them staying on the wrong side of the river. It's if they stay there, their brothers are going to have a difficult time. And they will have disobeyed. They will have reneged on the commitment that they made to Moses. And I'm preaching today to stop the nation of renegers to have an uprising up in here. Joshua is reminding them of what they had promised. Is that all right? Until you help your brothers get their rest, you can't rest. Here's the principle. My concerns should be greater than my own personal conquest.
Amen. Come on, preacher.
My concerns should be greater than my own personal conquest. I remember years ago when I preached some of this, right? Because we began preaching it. It's just so applicable right now. That's why we're back here.
All right.
You remember several years ago at the National Olympics for severely handicapped children? I can't remember exactly where it was, but I do remember something very unique happened. Boom, the gun goes off. They take off down in their lanes. Closing the end of the race, one of them fell.
Right.
What happened? Every other person in the race turned around.
Yes, sir.
Picked up, helped the one who had fallen, and they joined hands, and all of them came across the finish line together. We don't see much of that anymore, not just in church, in the world in which it's not in our culture. Because society places a much higher priority on personal fulfillment.
That's it, preacher.
Than on the fulfillment of others. Y'all gonna start looking at me funny. Long as I get what I need from church.
Mercy. Lord have mercy.
I'm not hardly concerned about anybody else. Is that who you are? Is that who we are? Because really, it's not about me. It's inheritance as well.
Amen.
We going in together.
Amen.
I said we going in together. We are a community of faith. Joshua chapter 14. Look at verse 8. Yeah, see what that verse says. I'm closing. Nevertheless,
my brethren who went up with me,
who?
My brethren who went up with me, made the heart of the people melt.
Made the heart of the people melt. See, everybody who is with you ain't with you.
That's right. Come on, preacher.
Y'all don't understand what I'm saying. Y'all don't see the power of this stuff. Unity is powerful. Yes. This unity is just as powerful in a negative way.
Come on, preacher.
It hurts everybody.
Yes, sir.
Read.
But I wholly follow the Lord.
But I wholly follow the Lord. Read the next verse.
So Moses swore on that day.
Saying,
surely the land where your foot has trodden shall be your inheritance and your children's forever. Because you have wholly followed the Lord my God.
Do you see Joshua?
Yes, sir.
You see Joshua? The Bible says he wholly followed. Joshua gave God all of him.
Yes.
When we discuss and share, commit to a mission that's greater than you, we're talking about giving God all of you.
Amen.
Half-hearted anything, it's got no place for Jesus in it.
Amen.
And you know I figured out why. Why, preacher? Say, why, preacher?
Why, preacher?
Because half-hearted leads to faint-hearted.
Yes.
And faint-hearted folk, it's only a matter of time before they quit.
Yes. That's right.
Forget that you have an inheritance in Canaan. But now you're so stuck in your wilderness lifestyle, you ain't thinking about your inheritance no more. You're settling for less than second best.
Yes.
I don't know of anybody in this sanctuary right now who wants to live that life.
Amen.
Praise the Lord. Thanking you for the word that was preached this morning. We thank you, dear Lord, for giving us the opportunity to receive our full inheritance. Help us, dear Lord, to trust you more and to wander in the wilderness less.
Yes, Lord.
And to remember and to know, dear Lord, that we are Canaan conquerors.
Yes.
Help us, Heavenly Father, as we endeavor to strive together to do your work and to do your will here in this portion of your vineyard, dear Lord. As we come stronger together, as we come more loving together, as we come better together, Heavenly Father. Help us as we endeavor to blend and do something, dear Lord, that has not been done before, and to move in a direction, dear Lord, that you have chosen, dear Lord. But we know that with your direction, dear Lord, with you leading, that you will guide us in the way that you would have us to go. We trust you, God.
Yes, we do, Father.
We trust you. You delivered Moses. You delivered Joshua.
Yes, Lord.
You can deliver us. Help us, dear Lord, to not be about me, but to be about we. Oh, to Jesus I surrender all. To him I freely give. I will ever love and trust him in his presence daily. Here's why. 'Cause I surrender all. I surrender all. To thee, my surrender.